Most of the major free agents have signed in the NHL, and now it's time to look ahead to the 2019-2020 season. Hello everyone, I'm Drew Goldfarb, and today we're doing a way too early preview of the 2019-20 NHL season by looking at the biggest winners and losers of the 2019 offseason. We'll begin with the fifth biggest winner of the summer, and that's the Arizona Coyotes. The Yotes were going to be on this list regardless of any transactions they made on or leading up to July 1st, all thanks to one simple acquisition, a new owner. Las Vegas casino owner Alex Morello is the majority owner of the Coyotes franchise now, with the deal being finalized over the summer. The team is still hoping to find a permanent arena to play in the Phoenix area, but having a new owner and not having that owner be one located in a city like Houston is a big boost to the team and gives at least a little added confidence to their fans. Add to that the acquisitions of Phil Kessel and Carl Soderberg via trade to join a young team that nearly made the playoffs in 2019, and you'll have one of the better off seasons that the franchise has had in recent memory. Currently listed as a plus 3,500 long shot to win the Stanley Cup in 2020. I'm not taking that bet, but it's been a good summer if you're a Coyotes fan. At number 4, the New York Rangers. After trading away Jimmy Vesey to Buffalo early in the day, the Blue Shirts snatched up free agent Artemi Panarin. Panarin signed a 7-year contract worth $81.5 million. The AAV is a little high at a few $1,000s a year more than Austin Matthews' deal with Toronto from back in February, but certainly the biggest splash of the summer when it comes to unrestricted free agents. Combine that signing with the acquisition of defenseman Jacob Trouba in June and drafting Kaapo Kakko second overall at the 2019 NHL Draft. And that's a solid offseason for a team that looked to be in rebuild mode as recently as a few weeks ago. Now a plus 6,600 underdog to win. There aren't many teams with longer odds, but they are definitely better than all the teams behind them. At number 3, the Dallas Stars, the team that took the eventual Stanley Cup champions to double overtime in Game 7 of Round 2, has had quite the July 1st. Joe Pavelski signed a 3-year deal worth $21 million after leaving San Jose. Corey Perry signed a 1-year deal with a cap hit of just $1.5 million after being bought out in Anaheim. And they added Andre Sekera to their blue line. They did lose Matt Zuccarello and Jason Spezza, but Pavelski's addition more than makes up for that. Dallas is available at plus 2,000 odds to win the Cup in 2020. This is the first team that I've mentioned so far where I might actually be intrigued to place a wager. At number 2, the Florida Panthers. You have to start behind the bench for this team as Joel Quenneville was introduced as the Cats' new head coach shortly after the 2019 regular season had ended. Coach Q rejoins general manager Dale Talon with the Panthers, and Talon made quite the signing for Quenneville on July 1st. Though they were also connected to Panarin, the Panthers were unable to lock up both former Blue Jackets. That said, they did grab goaltender Sergei Bobrovski in free agency, locking Bob into a 7-year deal worth $10 million a year. They also signed forwards Noah Acciari and Brett Connolly to multi-year deals, as well as defenseman Anton Strahlman, who they signed away from in-state rival Tampa. With Roberto Luongo retiring in June, that freed up about $4 million of cap space for the Cats, and Bobrovski can slide right in to take his place on the ice. With forwards Jonathan Huberdeau, Alexander Barkov, and Vincent Trocheck all signed for at least 3 more seasons, the Cats are in good shape. At plus 2,000, it's tough to take a team that hasn't won a playoff series since 1996 at those odds, but I wouldn't mind the plus 1,000 flyer bet on the Panthers to win the East. And at number 1, it had to be the New Jersey Devils. Thanks to the way things have built up in the last few years, combined with an outstanding 2019 offseason, New Jersey may be on the cusp of yet another dynasty. Devils signed Wayne Simmons to a 1-year deal worth $5 million, and that was basically their July 1st. But on June 21st, the Devils drafted Jack Hughes first overall. On June 22nd, New Jersey traded for defenseman PK Subban. They still have plenty of salary cap space to work with, which will be key if they intend to re-sign some big free agents next summer, like Taylor Hall and Nico Hischier. But New Jersey may just be some consistent goaltending away from being a legitimate Stanley Cup contender. There's still plenty of time left for that. At plus 5,000 odds, New Jersey is easily the best betting value in the NHL. A plus 2,500 wager to win the East might be safer, and with a path through the Metropolitan Division to get them to the Eastern Conference Finals, I'm really liking that one as I sit here on July 1st. As for the biggest losers, we begin at number 3 with the New York Islanders. The Isles were connected to both Sergei Bobrovski and Artemi Panarin this summer, only to see both sign elsewhere. They lost goalie Robin Leonard to free agency after he signed a 1-year deal with Chicago, and they gave Anders Lee a 7-year deal worth $49 million, making him the highest paid player on the team. Lee, meanwhile, saw his offensive numbers dip last season as he failed to reach the 30-goal mark and finished the year with 51 points. What New York has going for them is their general manager, it's still Lou Lamoriello, and their head coach, who's still Barry Trotz. Most people thought last summer was a disaster for the Islanders when John Tavares walked away to sign in Toronto, yet they still won a playoff series. They did also manage to lock up Jordan Eberle to a 5-year contract with a cap hit of less than half of what Panarin will be paid this year. They're still plus 2,800 to win the Cup in 2020, which can be chalked up to playing in New York and their GM and head coach. I'm staying clear of it. At number 2, it's the San Jose Sharks. They managed to retain Erik Karlsson on an 8-year contract worth $11.5 million a year, and they brought back Timo Meier for 4 years as well. However, they traded away Justin Braun for a pair of draft picks and lost Gustav Nyquist to Columbus, Jonas Donskoy to Colorado, and most of all, Joe Pavelski to the Dallas Stars. As of this writing, Joe Thornton and Patrick Marleau are both unrestricted free agents and could both return to the Sharks, but at the moment, it has not been a good summer in San Jose. The plus 1,700 betting odds that they currently have posting online has them favored ahead of teams like Washington, Winnipeg, and Nashville, and that is way overpriced. The worst offseason in 2019 has belonged to the Columbus Blue Jackets, and things started so promising. The Jackets won a playoff series for the first time in franchise history when they swept the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round before being bounced 1 round later against Boston. While they managed to re-sign goalie Joonas Korpisalo and defenseman Ryan Murray, it's been difficult since then. The Blue Jackets did not have a first-round draft pick this year thanks to a trade that got them Matt Duchene from Ottawa. Duchene, meanwhile, signed with Nashville on July 1st. They lost goaltender Sergei Bobrovski to Florida and lost Artemi Panarin to the Rangers. Gustav Nyquist is the only signing of note made by the Jackets as of this recording, and there are a number of restricted free agents still left to be re-signed. It's a difficult thing to see for a team that showed so much promise when the 2019 postseason closed. Columbus is now at plus 3,500 odds to win the Cup and plus 1,800 to win the East. Neither seems likely at the moment, and those odds aren't that appealing given what they probably should be after their July 1st losses. Which team do you think has had the best offseason or worst offseason so far? Do you have an early 2020 Stanley Cup prediction? Let us know in the comments below. And make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Odds On Favorites YouTube channel. I'm Drew Goldfarb. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.